Good evening, I'm Jeremy, and this evening I thought I would do something a little bit different. I play guitar, clearly. You probably know that if you're watching this. But I like to play in a number of different guitar tunings. I've been very fortunate in recent, sort of the last 10 years or so, I suppose, and especially in the last one, to have access to more than one guitar. Because if you like to play in a number of different tunings, that is tunings other than standard tuning, that gets tricky if you're limited to one guitar. It just gets kind of annoying after a while having to retune all the time. It's terrible for breaking guitar strings. Yeah. So look, I'm not an expert, I'm not a virtuoso, I know almost nothing about absolutely jack. But I love to play guitar, and I love playing in a number of different tunings, and I've been doing it for a while. And so I just thought it might be fun for those who might be interested in this kind of thing, just to talk about that a little bit. You can't see them at the moment, but I'm going to basically go through my different acoustic guitars and talk about the tuning that it's in, and maybe how I came to that, and just kind of go from there, I guess. This is my Gibson J200. It is not in a strange tuning. It is just in standard tuning. And it's quite delightful. Most of the time I play this guitar, I play it in standard tuning. And I love it, and it's wonderful. It's an absolute joy to play. And it always sounds fantastic. But sometimes, I'll have to just have a bit of a fiddle around here and hopefully not break anything while I'm doing it. This is a different guitar. Oh, that was tricky. Okay. Many years ago, like 20 odd years ago, I used to play around a bit in DADGAD, D-A-D-G-A-D. I haven't done that for a long time. So the point of that is, I was going to say this is the first guitar that I put in an alternate tuning, but as I've just established, that's not actually true. But as I also just said, haven't played in DADGAD for a long time. It was quite interesting. It was cool. It was a good introductory alternate tuning for me, because it was kind of like drop D, which I liked, but it was a bit more melodious than they had. It was kind of like an open tuning, except that it wasn't. But after a while, I got a bit bored of it, and I've never gone back to it. Maybe one day I will. But that aside, this is the first. Well, this is the first dedicated guitar that I had for a non-standard tuning. So this is tuned to D, G, D, B, C. I don't know either. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. And so this is where did this come from? So there's a song by Soundgarden that I really love, specifically by Chris Cornell of Soundgarden, called "Like Suicide," and it's written in this tuning. I don't know if there's any other songs in the world that are written in this tuning. I once saw a video of him saying that it was the only song ever written. Of course, that doesn't mean it's true, but I did stumble across something on the internet suggesting that I think maybe The Who might have had a song that was in this tuning. I'm not particularly, I don't know a lot of the Who's back catalogue, so I don't know if that's true or not. But so as I say, the only song that I know of is "Like Suicide" by Soundgarden. And yeah, so I started playing around with this after Chris Cornell tragically died. And so, as you will have worked out already, it's absolutely nothing like standard tuning. So none of the regular shapes work, or at least if they do, they don't sound the same. So when I picked this up, and started playing around with it, I had absolutely nothing to go on. I think maybe the first thing I played was an E minor shape. I thought, well, I'll stick my fingers there and see what happens, I thought, oh, okay, well, that's kind of okay, but that's a bit gronkly. Let's mute that. Let's not play that. I thought, oh, that's quite nice. And basically just went from there. And that's what it's been like for me with every alternate tuning that I've played around with. It's an exploration. I don't know if there are books out there, or I suppose on the internet there's probably dedicated sites, for different tunings and showing here's how you can play this chord and that chord. I've never looked into that. Maybe I should. Maybe it's just because I'm a bad, terrible person. Or maybe I enjoy the exploration. So I'm not going to play this much, but I've basically just fiddled around with it. And I've written a lot of songs in it, and it's just a lovely tuning. And so I've got sort of a collection of shapes that I know sound nice. I don't know what any of them are. I don't know their names, but that's okay. I don't need to know them. So that's that. D-A-D, sorry, scratch that. D-G-D-G, B-C. I have a feeling when I said that at the start, I got it wrong, but whatever. What I just said is correct. D, G, D, G, B, C. Okay, moving on. This guitar's a lot older than that other one. I've had it much longer. It was my main guitar for a long time, but when I got my J200, I was left going, oh, what do I do with this one? I don't want to not play it, but I kind of need a reason to play it. And then I thought, oh, well, why don't I put it in open E? And I chose open E because a while back I had learned how to play a song called Fiddler's Green by the Tragically Hip, which is in open E. And that was really cool. I thought, well, I'd love to play that again, and if I made this my open E guitar, then I could play that, and maybe I could write some other songs in it. So it's a lovely, cheerful sort of tuning. I have a lot of fun with this. There's I think I've got a couple of songs on my channel that are, played on this guitar. And it's just a lot of fun. As I say, it's quite a cheerful tuning. It encourages upbeat sorts of songs. Now, not to be defeated, I've managed to write a very downbeat song on it, but also two very upbeat songs. It's just lovely. And it's a lovely guitar to play on. So that's that. And for quite a while, these have been, the three guitars. These were my three tunings, and that's kind of as far as I'd taken it. But the other day I remembered a song that I really love, another Chris Cornell song from that featured on the soundtrack to the movie Singles. A song called Seasons, which is just amazing. Just layers of acoustic guitar. And I remember the first time I heard it just thinking, oh my gosh, this is amazing. This is the kind of thing I want to play. Of course, I've never learned how to play it. but I hadn't listened to it for a long time, and then I came across something the other day that reminded me of it, and so I put it on, listened to it, and I was like, oh, that's great. I wonder what tuning it's in. Probably something weird. It sounds like it's in something weird. Alternate tuning's often just, especially on an acoustic guitar where it's not all sort of disguised by distortion or whatever. Yeah, alternate tunings just often have a sound. Often it's kind of a drony kind of sound. Sometimes it's more of a physical thing, like the rattling of the strings might rattle a bit, like if they've been down tuned quite a bit. I think it was that kind of thing. And I just remember thinking, I bet that's in a weird tuning. So I looked it up, and it is. And this presented a problem for me because I thought I'd really like to have a bit of a play around with this because it is quite cool. It's got a very distinct kind of sound. But I don't think my wife will let me buy another guitar just at the moment. And that would be, that would be fair enough. And I have a 12 string, and I thought, well, no, bollocks to that. I'm not doing that. No, good grief, no. So where does that leave me? And then it occurred to me that my wife has a guitar, which I've never really played for no particular reason. I guess I did, probably because it's just a straight acoustic, and it doesn't have a pickup in it. But I thought, well, for my purposes, it doesn't need to have a pickup because I'm just experimenting at this point. So this is it. It's called an Echo. Made in Italy. She was given it. Her parents gave it to her for her 21st birthday. Right now, it kind of sounds like it's going to stay in tune. So I cleaned it up, put new strings on it for the first time in way too long. And I've always thought it actually had quite a nice sound. So Seasons is in a tuning that goes F, F, C, 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 F, because why not? I don't think that Chris Cornell came up with the tuning. I think it's the bassist, Ben Shepherd, actually. Well, he told him about it. Where he got it from, I don't know. It could be some kind of traditional thing, like some Celtic thing. I don't know. Who knows? But so when I started tuning, I was like, crumbs, F, like that's going a lot sharper. And then I thought, well, hold on, why don't I'll just drop that all down half a step. So I'll go E, E, B, 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 E, because I'm probably going to use a capo anyway. And so this is it. So I just did this night before last, and really just sort of started playing around with it a bit last night. Because obviously after I'd restrung it, needed time for the strings to sort of settle in and stuff. But I like it. I retuned this just before, and it's pretty good. But I don't know how well this will translate, on the phone. But I said before, this sort of alternate tunings often have a particular kind of sound. They sound different, and this one does. It's just I can hear that Seasons vibe in here. I have no idea how to play that song. Maybe one day I'll learn it, but at the moment I'm just exploring as I like to do. And pretty much the first thing I played was this. It sounds like it could turn into something. Maybe it won't. But yeah, I'm quite excited about it. On a number of levels, I'm excited about this guitar sort of getting a new lease of life. And who knows, maybe one day, if my wife is happy for me to do so, I will, I'll have a pickup installed in it so I can use it live. But but yeah, but I'm just enjoying that sound and the thought of, oh, cool, like here's a new thing. I've finally gone and tried this, you know, actually committed to, yep, I'm going to restring it, I'm going to put it in that tuning, and I'm going to commit to, you know, exploring it a bit. What's the point of all this? So I'm conscious I've rambled on for about 15 minutes. That's my custom, or seems to be. Alternate tunings have helped to keep guitar playing interesting for me. Which is not to suggest that it would have gotten boring, but it's I think I've really enjoyed the exploratory side of it. You know, I don't have a book telling me what to play. It's literally just going, well, I'll put my fingers here and see if it sounds good. Oh, it didn't. Okay. You know, and fiddling around. I really enjoy that and have really enjoyed it. And, you know, it in terms of songwriting and, you know, and just playing live, it brings some real variety to it. You know, I have enjoyed when I've been, you know, heard other guitarists play, and they've changed guitars. It's like, oh, cool. And that's probably just because I'm a guitarist. But I enjoy that side of it, you know, just mixing things up a bit. And I've also enjoyed what you might call the cross-modulation, you know, because the shapes I play on one guitar do not often work on another tuning. Sorry, on a different guitar that's in a different tuning, or they do work, but they sound completely different. And there's been a number of instances where I've ended up writing songs because I'd been playing a lot on one guitar in a particular tuning and all playing those shapes. And then I changed to a different guitar in a different tuning, and just sort of without thinking, I had played some of those same shapes and gone, oh, that's interesting. I've never played that shape before on this guitar. That sounds cool. Yeah, I don't know. There's nothing particularly deep about that, but I've enjoyed. That's an aspect of it that I've really enjoyed. And as I sort of alluded to before, I've also got a 12 string, which I'll bring it over, which is just, you know, is in standard tuning, because that's about all I can cope with doing with it. But it, you know, still, it's a different animal. It's just pretty cool. You know, it's all the same chords, but the fact that it has 12 strings, and so it has a different sound to my Gibson. Again, it encouraged, that kind of thing will encourage, if you let it, just trying different things, you know, exploration. That's one of the things that I love about guitars, is that every guitar, or at least every guitar that sounds good, you know, that they have their own personality, that their own nuances, and if you spend enough time with them, then you get to know them, which, you know, if you're a guitar knob like me, is cool. That's kind of it, you know. As I said at the start, I know almost nothing about absolutely jack, but I love to play guitar. I love these guitars, and I'm, you know, been very blessed to have them. And if you're a guitar player, and you know, and you've sort of gotten past the basic stages, at some point, I would, you know, in your guitar playing career, I would encourage you to have a fiddle around with some alternate tunings, because it's, you know, it might not be your thing, but it's definitely mine. Yeah, I have a lot of fun with it, and I know there are plenty of other guitarists who do as well. So, on that note, have a good night, enjoy some music.